Hi friends, welcome back to Snark and Spark. My name is Emily, and today is possibly going to be a long one, but possibly also a short one, depending on how I feel. So, I just wanted to sit down, do a face-to-face, and actually do like a catch-up, say what's happened in my life. It's June, we're 6 months into the year, and just because I feel like I kind of fell off the face of the earth and then I popped back up suddenly, and then here we are in June and I haven't made a single video, and it's like, what is happening? What's with the yo-yo, right? And I just want to sit down and be honest, because I don't like, life is a lot. Life is crazy. So I can't even tell you when the last time I sat down and chatted with you was. That wasn't, a book related video, or I don't know. Like, I think I did a cooking video. I'm just trying new things, I guess. Please forgive me. My hair is dirty. I have not been able to shower today because I am injured. Should I talk about that first? Let's talk about that first, because that might be why this video gets cut short. So, this past weekend has been crazy. I feel like my face is really red because it is. I am not feeling well. I actually stayed home from work today because I am dealing with some severe low back pain that we think is, I have to look it up again. I have to look at where we wrote it down. Piriformis syndrome often gets confused with sciatica. I know I have talked in the past about having hip pain and that I had done physical therapy and that had seemed to really, really help. And I've been great for the last while now. I've had some twinges here and there, but it's like, as long as I stayed consistent with stretching and things, it's been fine. I started going to the gym regularly in January, end of January, beginning of February, really. Let's say February. Starting in February, I started trying to go to the gym a couple times a week, working out, just trying to be healthy, the healthiest version of myself that I could be, trying to be strong. Also, please ignore this mess that is this bookshelf and this. Summer is in full swing. School has been out for almost a full month now, and this is like the catch-all bookshelf in our office. So I'm so sorry. Be glad you can't see the rest of my office because it's a hot mess. Anyways, things have been fine. I've been dealing with it, not a problem. And then yesterday, I was out and about running errands by myself. Caden was not with me. He is currently with his grandparents. He's having his first summer camp with his grandma and grandpa. So he's not even here. Please don't. I'm saying all this because I was in a minor car accident. So, but I was alone. I am fine. Caden was not with me. Bryant was at work. It was just me in the car. Really nothing that horrible. I pulled out of a parking space, was backing up, thought I had more clearance than I actually did, and accidentally tapped the bumper of someone else's vehicle. Yeah. So, and that was at 2:30 in the afternoon, right? Middle of the day. Luckily, the person whose vehicle I hit was amazing. And 100% my fault. I own up to it. I was pulling out of my space, totally misjudged my clearance. Their car was further out than I thought because it's a larger SUV, and just ding, right into those bumpers. Luckily, car can still be driven. Her car could still be driven. Nothing is damaged. Nothing has been totaled. Would y'all calm down? Kendi, come here. Girlie, we can hear you panting all the way from up in here. She is playing on the landing with Eisenhower or the cat, because I can hear them. And I'm wondering if you can. Um, like I said, took full responsibility, and it's not even, I'm not the type of person anyways that would try and deny or hide or try and get away with something like that. That's just not who I am. You good? Come here. Come give people what they want. Come here, baby. Hi. Are you playing? So excited. You can't even. Can't be doing that. I'll get to that in a minute. The way it happened, the way this parking lot, it serves as a parking lot for multiple establishments in this area of our town, and they were sitting on the back patio of one of these restaurants facing this parking lot. So the people who own the vehicle saw it happen, right? They were right there. They watched me do it. They were very gracious, though. They let me, like, I pulled back in, turned my car off, got out. A woman and her husband walked up. I think once they realized that it was just me, this 20-something young lady that's alone, right? She sent her husband away and just talked to me one-on-one. And she was honestly more gracious. I mean, emotional thing about it. More gracious than I could have hoped for or expected out of something like this. I have been in one other car accident where I was like at fault, and that was when I had just gotten my license like over a decade ago, and even that was out of my control. I hit a patch of ice and slid into a mailbox. This one, I'm an adult. I'm in my late 20s, and she was amazing. She's like, honey, I get it. I am a mother of 4. My oldest is probably about your age. And sometimes you just have a shitty day. Shitty things happen. And she was like, are you okay? Luckily, like, no one was in the car. No one was injured. It's purely cosmetic damage, right? Like, there's a little scratch to her paint. Little, like, to her bumper. Mine got scratched, little dents in like the trunk, but like nothing horrible, no totaling. But it still sucks, right? It is still shitty. It is still embarrassing. I start crying. And part of it was because it happened. Part of it because I was so anxious and upset. Part of it's because she was being so nice about it and was like, sweetie, quit crying. Honey, you're okay. She was like, just want me good. And I was like, I honestly just wanted to call my husband. I want to go home. My kid's with his grandparents. I just want to talk to my kid. And she's like, it's going to be okay. Was like, go home. Talk to your kid. Don't let your husband give you a hard time, which of course he wouldn't, and he didn't. We exchanged information. She was like, I flat out told her, I was like, I've never done this before. I don't know. She like told me what to do. Was like, take pictures, give me your insurance, we're going to exchange information, here's my number, give me yours, we'll exchange contacts, and then just take some deep breaths, calm yourself, we'll be all right. When I tell you, she even gave me a hug. She hugs me, tells me it's going to be okay, tells me to stop crying, go home, right? I feel very grateful. I did. I leave, call Bryant, tell him what happens. He's fantastic about it. Same thing. Are you okay? Is everything all right? I was like, literally, like, I was backing out of a parking space. Like, so then that happens. Now, I'm stressed out. I'm anxious. I'm having a rough time of it. Because even though I know things are going to be okay, my brain, my anxiety told me that when Bryant came home, like, I was in trouble, like I was a kid, right? I'm like, I'm going to get yelled at, I'm going to get punished, like, I'm going to be in huge trouble, which is completely illogical, but my brain and my anxiety and things related to my PTSD because of my childhood had convinced me that that was going to happen. Because the last time I was in a car accident when I was a teenager, that is what happened. There were consequences, there were punishments that, even though it was out of my control, things happened. And so in my head, that's what's happening, right? Like, I'm having like flashback, repeated triggering to that event and associating it with now. So I was a hot mess when Bryant came home. And when I tell you, I am so unbelievably lucky in the husband department. You have no idea. I think I could go on and on about the qualities of Brian because he is my best friend and has done so much for us and just takes care of me on a daily. Sorry, I am emotional. I'm also missing my kid because he's not here. It's only been 3 days without him and I am struggling, guys. Guys and gals. Anyways, that happens. So we get calmed down. We go through the claims. He walks me through it. He tells me everything I need to know. Was super sweet about it because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do any of this. We did it together. We're chill. And he's like, okay, you know what we need to do? We need to go on a motorcycle ride. So we own a motorcycle. It's my husband's motorcycle. It was like a purchase we had made several years ago as like a present for him of like he'd been wanting one. So we did it. And he loves it. Like, don't get me wrong. And I like motorcycles too. I have no problem with it. I grew up riding motorcycles with like my family. That's what we did. So he's like, we're going to go on a motorcycle ride. Cool. We're just going to cruise. We live near the outskirts of the city. We're surrounded by cornfields. There's a lot of back country roads kind of thing. So we can just ride around and be out in nature and see wildlife but also see farms. And because I live in Iowa, so lots of farms, lots of cows, lots of horses, but it's very calming to both of us to be able to just get out and reconnect together and in nature. Now, mind you, we had also already taken motorcycle rides previously this weekend. So keep that in your head. I've been on the motorcycle twice in the span of like 48 hours. I don't believe the pain I'm feeling is related to me tapping a bumper at all. I don't think so. I was going 5 miles an hour. We get back though, go on a motorcycle ride, we come back, and as soon as I step off of the motorcycle, I can tell that something is wrong. I am in severe pain. Across my lower back, going down into my legs, like on the back sides of my legs. And it is intense to the point where I can't stand up all the way, cannot fully straighten my spine. Standing hurts, even just standing still hurts. Walking was painful. I couldn't sit comfortably. Oh, I'm gonna take this call. It's my husband. I had to take that. So a minute for you, not even a minute for you, but I had to take that because it was about our insurance. So you'll see the light change as well because I turned the light on. Went on a motorcycle ride. Came home. Something's wrong. And mind you, like I've said, I've had this hip pain for years and I know what it feels like. This was not it. And my husband's like, I think it's sciatica. I'm like, that sounds right. It fits right, but it also doesn't. Because typically with sciatica, you'll have lower back pain that radiates typically down one side, one leg. And it'll go all the way down your leg. I was not having this at all. I was having consistent, severe low back pain across my low back, but in my sacrum, my tailbone, deep low back. And I kept but it was affecting both legs. Not one, both. And it wasn't going all the way down my leg. It's staying primarily in this upper thigh, but the backside of my upper thigh. And my husband could tell I didn't feel well at all. And so he is a champion, was taking care of me left, right, center, getting me ice packs. He brought me over-the-counter pain medicine. He got me my heating pack when we switched over to heat. He was giving me pillows and blankets to help me prop up my knees to try and see if that would help, elevate my knees. He made me food. He was bringing me food even though I couldn't eat, because then I started to get hella nauseous. Not interested in food at all whatsoever. I'd managed to eat a couple bites And it was literally just like cauliflower from the night before. I had made him Indian food because it's his favorite. So we had like some spiced, delicious cauliflower, which is also like one of my favorite vegetables, which is so sad because I couldn't eat it. Right. Big, juicy, baked cauliflower. Beautifully spiced, beautifully baked in the oven. We just talk, welcome to my cooking show. And just like plain white rice that I had made to go with our food, our Indian food. Couldn't eat it. I took a couple bites of cauliflower, took a couple small spoonfuls of rice, and was like, I can't eat it. Like, I don't feel well. And then I started shaking. And I was like, I'm cold. And Brian's like, you're not cold. It's like, it's the ice pack. So first he's like, okay, it's the ice pack. We're done. We took the ice pack off. And I'm like shaking. And he's like, okay, you're not. It's in your head. In a nice way. Like, I know that phrase sounds terrible, but that's not. He was like, hey, you're freaking out. So your body's reacting. You got to calm down. And I was like, I am in a lot of pain. And he's like, yep, I know. So then he was trying to help me. He was like, let's just do some basic stretches. Let's just try and like limber you up. And the pain got so bad. So trigger warning, if you don't like to talk about sickness or illness, this is not the conversation for you. Probably should have put this in the beginning when I started talking about being unwell. The pain got so bad, I started throwing up. I didn't know that was possible. My husband did, and so and mind you, he does not do bodily fluids, okay? Anytime a pet throws up, our kid throws up, goes the other way, any of those accidents, my husband does not handle that. He can't even handle, like, cleaning the cat's litter box. And that's fine, because normally that does not bother me. I don't care. I will clean up all of the things. I have never seen him so calm in the face of vomit as he was last night, because I couldn't get to the bathroom. And mind you, our bathroom is literally like on the other side of this wall right behind me. We have a downstairs like half bath that is just a toilet and a sink. It's our little Harry Potter bathroom because it's under the stairs. Couldn't get from my couch to my bathroom feet away, like 5-6 feet away. Couldn't do it. Could not physically move. I was in that much pain. I could take a couple steps and then my legs would give out. They would just fail. So I'm like, I'm going to throw up. He got me to the bathroom once. Nothing happened. We come out. And then he starts having me try and stretch. And of course, pain ramps up. And I'm like, no, I'm going to throw up right here, right now. He runs, gets me a bucket. And then I'm like, okay, I think I'm done. If you'll just kind of give me a minute, I'll clean this up. And he looked at me like I was insane, which I was. There was no reason for me to do that. And he's like, no, no, you're not. You need to rest. So he cleans it up, cleans me up, is giving me tissues. He took my glasses. Like, I don't have hair to hold back, but I do have glasses. So he like takes my glasses off. Must be people outside. Right. He took care of me. And I struggle with being taken care of. That is also some of my childhood things, is I wasn't taken care of at certain points in my life, and I learned how to take care of myself. So now when someone tries to offer me help, I won't accept it. And he knows this, so he's like, let me help you. Or like, hang on, I'll come help. And instead he was like, let me rephrase. I'm going to do this. You will not do it. And like, you have to do that for me. Otherwise I'm not going to listen. I'm going to continue to try it, which would have hurt me worse. Needless to say, we spent the next couple hours trying to just get me into a position to be able to relax. I couldn't find a comfortable position to sit in. I couldn't stand. I couldn't do anything. He's like, you want to watch Bridgerton? Because we like Bridgerton. We got through one episode, and then I was like, I just need to go to bed. Because at this point, I'm like, I'm supposed to go to work tomorrow. And And it's like every 20 minutes or so, I would start throwing up. And mind you, I have not eaten. There's nothing in my system. Like, it is gone. It's just bile. And he's trying to walk me through it. And he's like, you got to try and breathe through it. Like, you can't keep throwing up. There's nothing left. You're going to become dehydrated. Like, you got to just try and breathe through it. When I tell you, though, that never in my life have I experienced that kind of pain, it was awful, and terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. So we finally managed to get upstairs. He's got my water. He's got my bucket. Like, he's got everything I need. He's got the dogs taken care of. The cat's taken care of. He has cleaned up after me multiple times. He gets me upstairs. He helps me change. We have like a massager. He was like, I'm going to try and use this on you and see if we can't just loosen up your muscles. Cause I was like, it's nerves. Like, there's a nerve. And he's like, I understand, but your muscles are also clenching because your nerve is freaking out. So the rest of your muscles are clenching and they're freaking out. They're spasming, which is causing all more pain. So and I mean, he must have used this on me for 45 minutes, if not longer. Like, no complaints. Not a single complaint. None at all. I'm very lucky. Because he took care of me. And not once have I ever really thought about, your marriage vows of like in sickness and in health more than I did in that moment. When I was utterly helpless and dependent on him for so much. Because I couldn't even get to the bathroom on my own. And he didn't bat an eye. He didn't hesitate. But here's the thing, is like, it kept happening. I'm experiencing this constant pain, and I'm like, he's like, it's sciatica, it's, we just got to get your we just need to get your muscles to relax and help. Hopefully that will stretch, and hopefully that will alleviate whatever pressure is being put on that nerve. And I kept trying to tell him, like, it feels like it's in my butt. Like, I don't know how else to explain this, but like, it feels like it's in my butt. Cause he's like, is it your low back? And he'd press on my low back, and I'm like, that doesn't hurt. But as he would get lower, I'm like, that hurts. That hurts. And he manages to get like under my booty cheeks and like presses, and I like screamed. And he's like, oh, because it's like end of my tailbone, end of my sacrum, up in there. And he's like, okay, interesting. We're doing all this stuff. Gets me to and like, not to be incredibly oversharing, but like, when I tell you I couldn't go to the bathroom, he was willing to help me use the toilet if I needed him to. I'm too proud for that. So I did make him leave. But like, he got me like to the toilet, and then I was like, okay, I need you to exit now. Let me at least try. And if I can't, I will call you. And he was like, okay. But he was prepared and willing to help me relieve myself for bed. And I'm sorry, but if that's not commitment, then I don't know what is. And also, never in my life have I ever thought about being pregnant. I never thought that I would ever, like, I'm not pregnant, but it's like, that's never been like my thing. But in that moment when he was helping me through some of these pains and stuff, I was like, God, I bet you would be great during labor. So I wake up, finally gets me into bed, gets me comfortable. He's like, we're going to risk some pain medicine. Think the vomiting has subsided for now. The stretching did help. The massage did help. He's like, let's try and get some Aleve in you. Gets me into bed. amazingly, I'm able to fall asleep, but I'm like, I was exhausted. Think about just the emotional day I'd had, right? I'd just been in this car accident. Then we go for this bike ride that's supposed to be relaxing. And as soon as we step off the motorcycle, I'm like, oh crap, something's wrong. I spent the last several hours of my night in pain, vomiting, doing all of this. I was out, like, done. Wake up this morning, try and get up. I'm like, okay, it's not too bad. Managed to get to the bathroom on my own, and then was like, nope, this is not good. So I called into work, explained what was happening, took the day off. And so what we think is going on is what I said is the piriformis syndrome, which essentially it is related to sciatica. Which is why it is commonly confused with sciatica. But what happens is the piriformis muscle, which is very deep inside your butt, into your buttocks, essentially becomes inflamed somehow. But for whatever reason, that muscle inside your butt will then compress the sciatic nerve and causes intense, severe pain across your low back and into both legs. And that is exactly what I'm experiencing. Perfect. It can also cause nausea and vomiting. Yay! So I stayed home today, and have literally I've sat here at my desk for a large part of the day because our office chairs provide more support than our couch does. Our couch it's comfy, but obviously it's very squishy. It gives, this gives me a firm back to sit up against. I can plug in my heating pad into an outlet right over there and sit there. So it's been a day. And then on top of that, I had to take some phone calls from the insurance company. Luckily, everything's amazing. Our insurance is taking care of it for us. There'll be very little out-of-pocket cost for us, which is amazing. So I do feel very lucky, and I do feel very blessed, even in the midst of pain. So it's been a day. I'm doing okay. I am hopeful that I'll be able to go to work tomorrow. As the day has progressed, the pain has slowly decreased. It's still there, but it is nowhere near the level of severity as it was yesterday. I have not thrown up. I did manage to eat something at 3, like the nausea fully subsided. Managed to eat a little toast, a little buttered toast at like 3. Was a little nauseous a little bit ago, but I really think that was because I was dealing with all the insurance stuff. So one thing at a time, but I'm okay. It was just, I'm more emotional than anything because it's so dumb. And we really think because we rode the motorcycle so often in such a short amount of time and the seat I have is not comfortable is what did it. It dug, because I also told him, I was like, man, it hurts after sitting on that motorcycle. So we think that's what did it, is we literally injured myself riding our motorcycle. I'm a hot mess. And on top of that, June is a weird month for me as well. I'm already emotional. School's out for the summer. This is where I'm like, should I just back up and go back to the beginning? Like, started working out in February, was doing great, building up strength, was doing some stitching. You're fine. I think March I was stitching. Somewhere in there, though, in like March, April, May, I completely lost my stitchy bug. I want to say May. I feel like I did a lot of stitching in like March, April, and then I just lost it. It disappeared. Don't know where it went, and it has still been missing. In fact, like, I was like, I might as well utilize my time off while I'm here and Caden is not home and sitting at my desk and do like a stitch with me, film some stitch with me's and have them be able to be uploaded. And then I sat here with my stitchy cart right off screen and I was like, nothing is calling to me. I have no desire to pick up any of my projects that are on this cart. And there's easily 4 to 6 of them on this cart alone that I just haven't touched. I have been working on 2 projects. I've been working on my Letters from Hogwarts piece, and I have been working on an Afghan that I'm making for my husband's sister because they're expecting their first child, so I'm making a baby Afghan. But like, that's it. And they're in there because they're in my spot where I also have been sitting, so I'm not going to go get them because you don't need to see me hobble like a little old crone to try and get them. I will show them on a different day. It's been weird. Like, I just lost all motivation to stitch. I had no desire to. Nothing was appealing. Nothing sounded good to me. And then when I did start stitching again, I didn't want to share it. Because I feel like that was part of my problem, was I felt like I had all of this external pressure, which really was internal pressure, that I had to make progress, and I had to show it off, and I had to prove that I was like stitching right. And that's so silly. That's so dumb. It doesn't have to be. That's not what stitching is for me. I don't have to do that. And so really just like taking a step back and being mindful and kind of like keeping these projects for myself has been nice, and I've found myself more motivated to work on them, and now that I'm making progress to show it off. I've got almost 3 blocks of this Afghan done out of like 24, 27. It's a weird 24, I think, coming right along. And that's just been in the last like month alone that I've done these 3 blocks, when up until this point I barely worked on it. So it's just been, you're okay. You're okay, baby. Come here. Hi. She's over here now. She's over here now. You're alright. I think they want to go OUT, but I'm not going to do that because I bet that there's somebody out there that they want to bark at, and we're not going to do that. We're not going to bark. One of our neighbors got a new puppy, and it's very cute, but we're not going to go out there and bark at the puppy. We're not going to do that, okay? No. But other things, positive things have been happening in our life. So we have done a lot of house things. She sounds so pitiful. I promise you she's fine. So upstairs, we got a lot of painting done. I feel like I've already mentioned this a while ago. We've pretty much finished painting our upstairs, the gray color that you see. We've done most of the stairs, which my camera's angled, but there's no longer weird paint lines on my stairs. We have now a coordinating bedroom furniture set in the master. We were using old dressers and nightstands from like college days, right? And we finally were like, we're adults. We've been married several years now. We need sets. So we have beautiful dressers with a coordinating matching headboard. We've got lamps. It's wonderful. We're going to move our furniture into Caden's bedroom because he still has his like little kid furniture, which is going to break my heart because we're going to transfer him over to big boy furniture. And I'm like, I know he's a big boy. He's 10, but like, you feel me? Like, it's just meh. So we're eventually going to slowly take his old furniture out and replace it with the new furniture, new to him, old furniture that we do have to keep. It's not that we just can get rid of it because it is like family. One of them is a family heirloom that was like this dresser. It was my dresser, was handmade by Bryant's great grandfather. Someone on my husband's side of the family like handmade this dresser, so it's very old, it's very beautiful, but like we cannot get rid of that. So really we're thinking that will not go in Caden's room, not for a while at least. Like, we're gonna put that into the guest bedroom until maybe he's older. But did that, and then we've redone some of our laundry room upstairs. We've put in a butcher block counter over top, so we have a washer and dryer like this, and there's a space in the middle. And then we just had like a white wire shelf that you see in like pantries. Just a meh laundry room. So we've now got this beautiful black butcher block countertop that spans across the entire room and goes over the top of the washer and the dryer. And then we took down the shelf and my husband installed 2 cabinets. And then we have a rod in between the 2 cabinets so we can hang clothes that need to dry. And we have closed cabinets that we can actually put our laundry stuff in, have a little extra storage space for some other random items, put our cat stuff away. His litter box is there. It fits perfectly like in the gap between the washer and the dryer, between underneath the butcher block. His food is also where we store that so the dogs don't get into it. But we did that project. My husband's garden he's been working on his garden, getting that planted. We fence off a section of our front left part of our yard, and he's learned a lot from last year, because pretty much last year we only got herbs and tomatoes. Nothing else really thrived, because if we're honest, he overplanted with the tomatoes and they took over. And peaches, we got peaches. This year he's redone his beds, his garden beds. Hey, there's a cat. Redone his garden beds. He also has planted corn. But we've got corn. He's growing like squash, zucchini. I think we've only done maybe a couple tomato plants, if any. But he also has kale, broccoli, radishes, which the radishes are thriving. Didn't even know that was like possible, right? Hello, puppies. Radishes are thriving. I make radish dip. My boys love it. So, of course, those are the first things that have, like, ripened and have been harvested. So they're like, radish dip, radish dip. I'm like, calm down. Our peach tree is in, like, full bloom. We got several last summer. I think we got about 7. All right, Kennedy. This year, there is so many, and I'm like, they're all going to ripen at once, and we're going to have so many. We're going to have so many peaches, but they were so good. They're some of the best peaches I've ever had, and I don't know if it's just because it's my peach tree, right? Because I wanted a peach tree. We have a pear tree. It still has not fruited, but I still think that's going to take a little bit. I think it'll take another couple years for it to be mature enough to fruit. We also have a cherry tree, but the birds have already eaten all of the cherries before we could pick any of them, which is fine. And then our very back fence. So our yard is this, and at the very end, it's slightly elevated. So my husband has put in a temporary fence like this and has cordoned off the elevated area and has completely transformed that back area for wildflowers. And so last year was his first year doing it, and then this year things have come back, but we've got wild clover and wildflowers that we've just let grow, like native wildflowers. Let that area just do its thing. It's also kind of a nice little privacy barrier, because even though we have a chain link fence, our backyards back up into condos. So it is just kind of like another extra layer of like privacy. Not that it matters that much, but it is there. We also know that there are bunnies in there because we've seen them, and the dogs like to try and, catch them even though they can't get to them. But there are bunnies. I've seen baby bunnies. And we have birds, because my husband is becoming his father as he ages. And so we have multiple bird feeders with different types of feed for his different types of birds. And we have a lot of birds that come visit us in our yard. So we're just a thriving little like Disney princess right now with our garden. But he loves it. He is loving his little garden, and that's his thing. And that makes me happy that he has something. What else? Caden is in jiu-jitsu. He does that 3 times a week. It's a lot, but he is loving it. So it's been good for him. He has already had 1 belt test and has been elevated. So he is now a red belt, which is very cute. I think they'll have another one here in like another month or so. And we'll see if he passes or is invited. Because you have to be invited by the sensei to test. So we'll see. Like, it's not guaranteed. And then let's take a drink break. I'm gonna, because I know I've not got enough water in me, and so drink. This has a like Pedialyte solution in it. Yay. I also have Pedialyte popsicles. Pro tip: parent hack, even adult hack. Pedialyte popsicles. They're in my freezer. They're fantastic. Not just for when you're sick, not just when your kid is sick, but like hot summer days like this, they're outside running around. You can't get them to come in to take a drink for 5 seconds. Pedialyte popsicles. What kid's going to say no to a popsicle? It works wonders. And then it makes me feel better too, knowing Caden is also very susceptible to becoming dehydrated very easily and has been since he was a little kid. I mean, he was even hospitalized once when he was very little because he became dehydrated, and that was very scary because he was not with us. He was with other family members, and that was a whole situation that we don't need to talk about. But ever since then, obviously, we keep it in mind. We try and keep him hydrated. That's my tip to you. So I'll probably be enjoying one of those very soon as well. Life things. We just went through. There was also a reason I wasn't filming a lot. So we went to town and caught up with our best friends from home because we went home, and it was my sister-in-law's baby shower. So we went home for them, caught up with our best friends. When we came back, we picked up the dogs from the kennel, and if you watched my December Vlogmas videos, if you remember around that time, this little gal unfortunately got hurt at the kennel and was bitten on her face by another dog, and that was obviously very upsetting. I talked about it a little bit, and it was just a really frustrating experience because we really never got answers from it. And then we needed to get them. We had to kennel them because we were going to be gone for 4 days. We were out of state, right? So we're like, okay, we'll give this kennel one last chance. And I personally now regret it. Because Eisenhower came home with wounds this time, and it's been like a month and he's still healing from them. So that's very upsetting as well. And I just remember because when we were dropping them off, I looked at him and I was like, if one of them comes home injured, we're done. And he's like, I totally understand. I totally agree. Unfortunately, this time we picked them up. They're gross. They were dirty. So we were like, okay, well, let's bathe them. And we were bathing them in the backyard. Kennedy's fine. Whatever. As we're bathing Eisenhower, I'm like, hey, he's got a wound. He's injured. And Brent was like, what? And we look, and he has a wound on his shoulder blade. And we're like, what the bad words? It looked like a chunk of fur had gotten ripped out, inches long, had gotten ripped out. And we're like, whoa, what is this? And it was fresh. We don't notice anything else. Clean him up. The next day, my child, Caden, finds another one on him on the other side. So he's got 2, same places on both shoulder blades, where it looks like some sort of fur, he got stuck, in a fence and ripped himself free, or it, we have no idea. One of them looked like scratches, 100% looked like he got scratched, and that caused it. And then a couple days later, we noticed another wound on his rear, on his behind, where he's missing a chunk. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I call the kennel. I'm like, I need someone to explain to me what has happened to my dogs, because this is bullshit. My dogs have been injured the last couple times we've trusted them under your care, and not only are they coming home injured, but you are not alerting us to these injuries prior to us picking them up and getting them home. Both times, we had no idea until after we got them home and looked them over. But you want to tell me you weren't aware? You weren't aware that this little miss, can't do this, that this little miss got bitten? No, you had no idea. And you want to tell me that you missed 3 wounds on my boy? Excuse me, what? So they were like, let us know if you take him to the vet, we'll cover the cost. And I'm like, cool. I took him to the vet the next day because I was like, no, this is not okay. Because he wasn't acting right. He was very lethargic. He wasn't eating. I could tell that he was in pain. And that he was like itchy, like uncomfortable. So we take him, they essentially look him over and they're like, we can't tell you what happened, but it's some sort of like inflammation, irritation, something has happened that is causing, it could be contact dermatitis, something happened at the kennel that this has happened, right? I walked out of there with an antibiotic, an anti-nausea, and a cream to put on my dog. He had to take this anti-nausea medicine 2 times a day. No, half a pill. That's right, because it was half of a pill for 4 days in a row. And then he had to take an antibiotic for 7 to 10 days, whatever that amount was until it was gone. And then we had to put this cream on him morning and night on his wounds to help clear them up and protect them and help them heal. Because when a dog gets injured like this and they don't eat, it's typically because they're experiencing some sort of nausea or they're upset. He was very anxious, and the vet was like that, so she also did not want us to put him in a cone, because large dogs, especially when you cone them, they become even more anxious, and he was so anxious already. She's like, I'm not going to do that to him. Give him the anti-nausea medicine, because also if they're dealing with an infection that can make them nauseous. And she was worried about infection because she's like, it already looks like it is showing signs of infection, which means that it had to have been there for a couple days, right? Like, that had to have happened one of the first days that they were there. It makes me so mad. So we've been dealing with that like all month because we were in town the first weekend of June. We came back and we've been dealing with this. And like his hair, they had to shave him in those spots. His hair is just now starting to grow back. But, you know, we're dealing with that every single day of, like, trying to keep him away from the wounds, keep the area clean, make sure he takes his medicine. This dog, she's so sweet, thought she also needed medicine. So she would watch us give Eisenhower his, and then she would sit there and, like, hide by the door, and we'd be like, okay, miss, it's your turn. And she would, like, come over all sad and like wait for us. So we had to like rub medicine on her, and then we would also, because we put it in peanut butter, so we'd hide his medicine in peanut butter and give it to him, and then we would give her like a little bit of peanut butter. She legit thought she needed medicine too, and was like sad about it, but still would willingly come over and like let us. Like, honey, she's not the smartest, but God knows we love her. She's passed out. She's out. So it's just been a lot. On top of that, we were like, okay, we think Cade might be old enough to stay home a couple days a week while we're at work. The way our work schedules happen, my husband is off. Like, I'm off Wednesdays. My husband gets off half a day on Wednesday and then is off Thursday, Fridays. I'm home on the weekends. Monday, Tuesdays, like, I only work a couple hours during the day. So it's like at most he'd be home alone for about 4 hours. And we're like, okay, he's 10. We had talked to him about it. He was like, yep, I can do it. You know, we had all these safety precautions in place, blah, 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 blah. First week, fine. 2 weeks, y'all. He lasted 2 weeks before my kid decided to make some bad choices. Parents, you'll get this if you've ever dealt with a kid who is too smart for their own good. I blame the men in my husband's family because they are all like of engineering backgrounds. His dad is a civil engineer. Bryant studied mechanical engineering for a little bit in college. Caden is naturally gifted with math and science. I shit you not, I cannot make this up. I came home. He had created pulley systems in our house using embroidery floss. Not any of mine, thank you, but he has like a kid's kit that he has like cannibalized and took the skeins of floss out and used the skeins to create, using for the ropes for his pulley system so that he could sit and pull things to him without having to get up. Oh, he did it to his lunch. He had like attached it to like lunch plates and baggies and was like pulling stuff across the kitchen. He did it upstairs in his room. He had a whole thing set so he could be in bed, pull this that would turn his light off and give him this. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's not the worst of it though. This is not why my kid is now going to summer camp. Nope. He decided, because I don't know where he learned it, but he learned it. He decided to launch rockets in our backyard. Just let that sink in for a second, okay? And I'm talking traditional, think like old school science projects. You create a volcano with baking soda and vinegar, right? Because it creates a reaction. This kid used all of my vinegar in this house. We had a jug, about half full of white vinegar, gone. He found a bottle of our apple cider vinegar in the pantry, like a full one, gone. He used all of the vinegar in our house. He got my baking soda out of our pantry as well, out of our cabinets. I come home, the house is silent. I look into my kitchen. There's evidence of something that he has tried to clean up, but didn't clean up all the way. There's little dots of this mixture on my floor leading to the back door. And he is nowhere to be seen. He is upstairs in his room creating another STEM project. He is like building something in his room. When I come home, there's like stuff all up in here on the floor, and I'm like, what did you do? And he fessed up. I will give him that. He fessed up immediately, told me everything he had done. Even if he hadn't, though, because here's the thing, my kid couldn't commit a crime because he filmed himself. He got the iPad and took time-lapse videos of himself doing all of these things. Making the rockets, launching them, playing with the dogs, like putzing around the house. Y'all, I have never been so impressed and so mad at the same time in my entire life. I didn't know you could even feel that way at the same time. But you can, because I did. Like, kudos, kid. Like, I would have never had the ingenuity to think of these things when I was a kid. But, what? So yeah, all of that aside, we talked about the safety implications and how it was dangerous and how they were bad decisions. That so many things could have gone wrong. He could have injured himself. He could have injured one of the dogs. He could have damaged our house or one of the neighbors' houses. Like, a number of things could have gone wrong, right? And then not to mention misusing items in the house, making messes, all of those things. We went over all of that with him, and we're like, okay, you know what this means, right? And he was like, what? And we're like, you have lost the ability to stay home by yourself. And that was more devastating to him than anything, because, right, he had convinced himself and was, like, trying so hard to convince us that he was mature enough and ready enough to stay home alone. And we're like, we gave you a chance, and you lasted 2 weeks. So now the natural consequence is you are not going to stay home by yourself because you made bad choices when left to your own devices. And now, mind you, I have essentially created a summer school program for him to as homeschooling over the summer. So I have created a whole curriculum that includes math, history, geography, science, and reading, and have given him daily assignments to do that, and a schedule to follow, because I'm neurotic, but to follow so that he would be occupied during the day. Because we also turned off internet access while we were gone, because we didn't want him just getting on the TV, getting on YouTube, getting on his computer, getting on the Xbox, and, accessing stuff without us there. He informed me that he did all of his assignments and rushed through them, and then decided to do everything else that he did that Monday. So we learned our lesson. So we've added Bryant and Caden to my YMCA membership, and Caden will be going to the summer camp through the YMCA. Chaos, guys. Chaos. He would be in it this week, but he is with Nana and Papa this week. Yeah. And then June is just a weird, it's just been really, really busy. We've had family stuff. My nephew is here. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. So my sister has given birth. Heck yes, we are aunt and uncle times 2 now, pretty soon to be times 3. But my sister gave birth to a beautiful boy. His name is Elijah. He looks just like his dad. And he is the cutest little thing, and we are very excited. We have not gotten to meet him yet, but we do want to go visit by the end of this summer. You know, we want to get over there and meet little man, see our niece Adeline, meet Elijah, and then obviously we want to get back down. We want to wait till kind of the end of the summer because my husband's sister is due in August, and we're kind of hoping to do like a 2-for-1 big trip and just hit up everyone that we know in Indiana and like go down home to our hometown, visit his family, see that baby, travel up to the capital, see my family, see those babies, and visit and hang out, and then come back home. You can kind of see Eisenhower just walk by, and if you were paying attention, there was like, you could see a dark circle on his butt. That's where the hair has been shaved and the skin has healed over. So it's looking a little scabby. The skin is still dark, but he's no longer in pain. He's no longer licking it or messing with it. So I think the wounds have pretty much healed. We just now need his hair to grow back. But yeah. And then Father's Day. Father's Day is rough for me since I lost my dad. This is the third year without my dad. It doesn't make it any easier. It's hard. I also had a really difficult conversation with my mother because it turned out that our phones just were not sending each other messages for whatever reason. But I thought my mother was willfully ignoring me, and that was causing some tension. And then it turned out that she had not been receiving any of the messages I had been sending her. The last one she had received from me was a Mother's Day text in May, and I was like, I've been texting you since then. Like, I thought you were willfully ignoring me for whatever reason and couldn't figure it out. So that was fun. We had to hash that out, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm not mad now that I understand, but like, it's a lot. But yeah, so Father's Day was rough, but it was also okay. Like, I do have a great stepfather. Messaged him, talked with him. We have Bryant's dad, who's a great man. We have Bryant himself. I made sure to get him a really fun Father's Day gift. We watched a YouTube channel called Expedition Overland, and it's like a family, and they go on these overlanding trips where they drive big vehicles and they drive across the country and across trails, and they camp, and they go to really cool far off places. So this past season they were in like Iceland. They did a Nordic adventure, and we watched that together and really, really enjoyed it. But one of the like running jokes throughout the whole like season was that they found these candies called After Eights, which is essentially a peppermint patty, but they're square and they're very thin, but the whole thing is that they're after 8, like you enjoy them after 8. And they made up this whole thing of like, they're like the Council of the 8, and you must wait until after 8, and you have to be initiated to have an after 8, and it was this whole thing, and we thought it was really funny, and I managed to find them, and I was able to order some through Amazon, but they did have to come from overseas because it is a foreign candy. They don't sell them here in the United States. So I'm really glad I thought of it when I did, and I ordered it like the beginning of June, end of May, beginning of June, and it arrived like a couple days after Father's Day, but it was still like really exciting. They did melt a little bit because it's summer, and they were in my mailbox, and I didn't realize they were in my mailbox. But put them in the fridge. They're fine. Bryant opened them up, was super excited, was so surprised, and immediately ate like 4 of them. And I was like, you have to stop. You're going to make yourself sick. But they're very good. A side note about this. All my life, I have grown up thinking that I hate chocolate, that I dislike chocolate, right? Don't like it at all. And then we've tried a couple like foreign candy boxes. Like, we've done, what is it called? I want to say Tasty Box, and that doesn't feel right, but like, we've done some of those boxes where you can get sent snacks from various countries, and we've done a few of those now, and every time I've just been shocked because they usually have candy bars in them, and I was like, I don't really, whatever. I we'll try them, and then we realized it's not that I don't like chocolate. I don't like American chocolate. Foreign chocolate is amazing. It's so good. So we just kind of have a good laugh about that every time, because I'm like, to this day, you hand me like an American chocolate bar and I hate it. I don't like it. But foreign chocolate, because I know it's made differently, it is processed completely differently, it's so good. And so these are amazing. It's this thin, dark chocolate with like a peppermint center. Oh, it's so good. They're in my fridge. Whatever. Look them up. So it's just been... I have to start moving. I'm so sorry. I'm okay. I will be okay. I have some stretches I need to do, but I'm waiting for Bryant to come home so that way he can actually help me move through them safely and not get stuck or hurt myself worse, and actually have someone to help me. But I'm gonna end this. I'm talking way more than I thought I would. Miss over here is crying because she wants to go do something. They're hungry. They want to go play. Drink break. Did you just scare yourself? Goodness. I'm going to leave this here. All of this to say, it's been a long couple months. The stitchy bug is back. I do want to come back and show you my stitching progress very soon. Go over some of my whips, talk about things that I've started. Because I even started a bunch of stuff, like little things, and finished them. So yeah, I do want to come back and chat, but I'm going to end it here so I can deal with them and take care of them and take care of myself. So, leave me thoughts, leave me good vibes, prayers, wishes, luck. I keep injuring myself in weird ways, so I can use all of the good karma. Baby girl, come here, big stretch. She's fine. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back, even though I am hectic and crazy. Please let me know what you've thought about some of my recent videos that I have done. I do want to get back into some of the things that I have done previously. I've got some stuff that I've hauled that I do want to show you. I've got books, I've got wax, I've got some planner stuff that's supposed to arrive tomorrow that I've been holding off using because I wanted to show it off to you. I also have some wax empties. I still have been storing all of my like body care wax empties so I can do an empties video. I have cross stitch stuff. Like, I'm trying to get back into the swing of it, but I do want to include some of that newer content about like doing booktube stuff and just incorporating a more rounded channel that shows all of my interests. So, I am done. I will see you all very, very soon. In the meantime, be easy with your hearts.